Hello, hello, good evening. Welcome to another live stream, number 38. Getting to the last bits and pieces of the game now, which is making it harder and harder to choose what to do on the live streams because, as I say each week, as we're getting close to the end, that I'm trying not to give any spoilers on the live streams. So a couple of things I'm going to work on tonight, hopefully, is a little bit of sprite animation for Clive, specific to one of the puzzles. Something completely new to me, because I've been doing like the ends of the game, the kind of narrative at the end, and was struggling to time narrative with on-screen text and stuff. So I've got a way of sorting that out using Unity timeline. So I'm going to do a bit of that too, and then just redrawing one of the act markers, because when it was getting tested, it was my wife who said, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's clearly a piece of pizza, isn't it?" And she said, "No." So I'm going to redraw that because, fair enough, there's somebody else's opinion of what it looked like. It didn't look like a piece of pizza, so I'm going to sort that out as well. There's quite a few things that I've done recently. I think I finished the last live stream and I was putting together that newspaper twirl. I've got that finished with the non-placeholder graphics in, but that's full of spoilers, so I can't show you that. And the stuff that I was doing a couple of nights ago was just getting a load of the responses done in the bins, like the trash cans down the side of the alley in Act 3. So there's been quite a lot of other little bits and pieces going on. But yeah, tonight it's going to be, I think I'll probably start with the timeline stuff because it'll serve as a little bit of a tutorial for those who are using Adventure Creator in Unity as well, because I found it really, really useful. So I'll switch over to my screen. There we go. This was the dumpster stuff I was working on, so there is now hotspots for everything in the dumpster, and there is now also lines of dialogue for absolutely everything that's in both the dumpsters. So the right dumpster there and left dumpster, all of that one's done as well. They're in a slightly different hotspot setup there, but yeah, so everything is now clickable and there's something kind of funny for each of the things that are in the dumpsters. Like I said, the thing that I want to concentrate on really, and I'll just have to check my audio levels here, but the intro, what I've done is I've actually decided on a slightly different voice. I was using a voice changer. So I was speaking the dialogue into my nice mic, so I got the tone and the pace of it, and then I was using a voice changer to change my voice into something a little bit more dramatic. And actually on the trailer there's an intro there where it's my voice through a voice changer, which now listening back to it, that particular voice hasn't got the kind of gravitas that I wanted for the end of the game. So I've chosen a voice which is more like a elderly gentleman telling a tale, and used that to re-record just this afternoon my voice doing the intro. So I was about to replace that, and the other night I was working on some of the finale text and wanting to have narration prompt, like narration text appear on screen. One, just for accessibility, and two, if the people who are playing it have not got their volume up loud enough, don't want to miss that dialogue really at the start and at the end of the game. So I wanted to use the narrator text to make sure that when there's a bit of voiceover, it's actually on screen as a subtitle as well. I'll play the intro scene and just check the levels to see if you can hear the voice. So this has got the old voice on it, I think. See if the desktop audio comes through. Probably hear that. Yeah, so you can hear the background noise there. The speakers might be a bit quiet actually. Hopefully you can hear that.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor For You. store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he's found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
So that is my voice through a voice changer, and I've changed it to a different voice basically, but the way that it was all timed makes it really difficult to put individual kind of captions on the screen. So what I happened upon the other night, I knew it was available in Adventure Creator, is integration with Unity Timeline. So I'm going to set that up for the intro and remove the current way that I'm doing it. So currently there's quite a complicated cutscene at the very start of the game that just fades out the camera, hides the inventory and the inventory buttons, sets a mixer snapshot so the music comes down, plays the ambience of the city in the morning things, and the main theme music, fades it all in, and then eventually it does this tree move where the tree moves across the front of the thing. So there's lots of actions that do all of that, and then it's just this one at the end here plays the voiceover intro, and I'm actually going to disconnect that because there's no way for me to easily time segments of narration text on screen. There's a variety of different ways to get Adventure Creator to kind of synchronize a line of dialogue with an MP3 file, but you end up then having to cut your MP3 files into lots of separate chunks and do individual like actions for every bit of dialogue and have them passed to the narrator thing. And it was just becoming a real mess, especially at the end of the game where there's quite a bit of voiceover and there's different tracks depending on what choices you made in the game. And I was like, this is just going to become a bit of a headache. So this solution using Unity Timeline is fantastic. So I'm going to disconnect that so that the voiceover doesn't play. It starts playing roughly when the dog starts peeing up the corner of the shop. So that's the kind of timing I'm going to use, and I'll just go through like how to set up timeline for it. So I'm going to create an empty game object, just call it timeline, I suppose. Which this is how I've been doing it on the finale thing. My caps lock button stopped working. I don't know. Timeline, and this is just to hold one of these playable directors, and this is so that we can reference it. And actually have a Unity Timeline clip down here. So you can hit the create button to create one, and then I've got some playable assets in there. It's going in there. I'm just going to call it new intro timeline. Oh, now I've got my caps lock. Can't win. New intro timeline. Apologies for the croaky voice late night last night. Out at a festival, spent the night in a tent, so I'm feeling a bit delicate and tired now. So that new intro timeline, the Unity Timeline allows you to drop kind of clips onto it. There can be animation clips, there can be bits of audio, and Adventure Creator has some custom types that you can put in there, and it is really, really handy for timing things to specific seconds for things to appear on screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and grab my new piece of audio. Good evening, Kyle. Long time no see. Yes, all is well with me. Hope all is well with you as well. Excuse me, apart from my croaky voice, but it's self-inflicted, so there's no pity there. Hope things are going well with you. Yes, I have been busy. Yes, the game is now, I suppose this is the bit where I should plug it, isn't it? Because the game is now available on Steam. There it is, under the carpet, to wishlist. And we will hopefully be getting some beta keys soon so that I can get some beta testing done. I've just got the finale stuff to finish off. I know I've been saying that for a few weeks, but there's quite a lot to finish off in the finale, which has left me struggling to decide what to show on live streams because I don't want to spoil the ending of the game. What has also happened last week as well, one of my favourite YouTubers, WISHLIST, featured the trailer on his These Adventure Games Are So Creative from 6 days ago. So I got a shout out on there and some promotion of the game. If you check out WISHLIST, he's got some excellent point and click adventure reviews, and he does playthroughs and things like that as well. Perhaps I will ask him to do a playthrough of Under the Carpet when it is ready, but we will see, because we are getting to the point when it's a great channel. That I've followed him for years actually. It's really good stuff. So this part that I'm working on now is super helpful if you're using Adventure Creator for getting timings of things right, particularly good for cutscenes and things when you want audio or events to happen at a particular time. So I've created a new timeline playable director. I've got this new playable asset that I just created called new intro timeline, and what I'm going to do is drop onto that the voiceover just as one big MP3. So I think it's called intro new read. It's called Old Wiz voice change.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You. Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon.
So I'm just going to drop that onto there. So this is the whole of that audio intro. It's actually only this first bit up to about where my cursor is there, about 4 seconds, that plays on this scene, and then it goes to the shop scene where he's hoovering up. So I'm going to have to do this on 2 scenes, but it's the only way really for me to get the subtitles to appear exactly in time with this text. So the timeline's fantastic. It's like a video editing workflow in Unity, but you can trigger animation clips of any character, anything in the scene. I probably should have, if I'd have known about timeline, I would have done this tree move in timeline, because it would have been much easier than guessing the timings and things. So certainly the next game I make, I'll be using timeline more, because just the other night I started playing with it and was like, oh, I wish I'd known this before, and it would have made some things a lot easier. So I'm dropping my audio on because that's the thing I'm going to use to pace this, I suppose. There's a lot that goes on at the start of this scene. The camera move, the tree moves out the way, the little dog comes in and starts weeing, and that's the bit where I want it to start. So this audio, I can literally slide it along, and I think it's about 4 seconds in, so there's a little time thing at the top there. About 4 seconds in is probably when I want it to start playing. You can see the waveform, so it's really handy. Make it a bit bigger so you can see it. You can see where the first words appear, and if you press spacebar...
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
So that's kind of the only bit that happens here, because the next bit...
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains.
By that point, we're going to be in the next scene, which is actually in a whole other scene. So it's just this first bit that I want to play, but to save me having to split it all up into different MP3s and trigger them all separately, I'm just going to cut that back to there, so we only hear that first bit. And then if you right-click here, so I just drag that straight out of the project. There's some AC controls you can add to a timeline. So this was integrated a couple of years ago and I just didn't really use it at the time. But one of them is called speech track at the bottom. So I'm going to select speech track, and then what you can do is you can right click and go add a speech playable clip, and it just gives you this empty container that you can type some text into. Now you can assign that from a character, so there's another option there like add from character, but in this case it's not a character that's speaking, it's the narrator. So if you don't assign a character in Adventure Creator, then it automatically gets passed to the narration engine, I guess. So where you've got speech and menus up here, there's a narrator text menu, and that appears like that, you can see. So I've positioned it up the top with a black background, like a subtitle bar, having it up the top rather than down the bottom, because I don't want it to get in the way of the next scene. And also the outro, there's important stuff at the bottom of the screen, so I'm putting the subtitles at the top rather than the bottom. So what you can do with timeline is you can just drag these for them to appear exactly where you want them. So those lines of dialogue there,
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
So that text, if you wanted to, you could do
It's Monday morning.
It's Monday morning. You could type that there. It's Monday morning. If you don't have to do this, Control and D duplicates it. At the Gateshead branch of Floor for You. So you could split it into two like that, and then when it plays back,
it's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
So it's timed perfectly. It doesn't display in the editor in the correct style. It just shows it in the middle of the screen as like a preview. But if I play that back now, I think 4 seconds is about right. Actually, I'm going to pull that in a little bit so it appears just as you start talking. You can trim this back as well if you really wanted to, but I think it's about 4 seconds. I might be wrong. It might be longer than that. I'd be able to tell by adding all of these up. I can see it fades in for 4 seconds. It waits for another 2. The tree moves. Waits for another 6. Actually, it might be much longer than 4 seconds. It might be more like 15. I don't know where I've got 4 seconds from. So you can grab everything, slide it all along. It's about 12 seconds. That's a guess. I'm going to click play, and what we should get. We want it to start. So you can see the timeline playing along here. So we'll see when the dog gets there, about there. So 10 seconds is when we want it to start.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
So I want to do it before it fades out. So just select the timeline again. So it is around about 10 seconds. Slide it back to there. This is set, this timeline, it's set to play on awake, so it plays right at the start. You could just call this in the thing that you can create an action. And I've forgotten what it is. Is it engine timeline? Control timeline, there you go. So you can select that playable director that I call timeline, and you can get it to play at a particular point in time. So that would be another way to do it. If you remember where I've just disconnected this audio playback bit, what I could do is connect that to there, have it play at that exact same time when the voiceover used to start playing. I think, do I have to select the timeline as well? Not use that action actually. It's good to work this out now actually. Just slide that all the way back so it starts playing straight away. And then the timeline itself, just don't do play on awake. The other thing actually that I noticed yesterday, each one of these, it's setting when it plays. Oh no, it's not that. So it's this, the whole track. By default, the playback mode's called natural, which basically means the speech lines will last as long as Adventure Creator thinks they need to on screen. Based on the number of characters in the piece of text, and that's not the behavior that I want for this. I want this to be for the clip duration, and that basically means they'll show just for exactly as long as they appear on this timeline. So that should be spot on. Hopefully this will trigger exactly when the other one does, or the other one did from this action here. It's going to play that timeline at that point in time. So it should start playing just as the dog gets to the corner, hopefully.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
It's a bit early to be honest because we come into that scene, so I need to push it back a little bit. There might be a bit of a weird echo actually because I just realised my speakers are on and it's coming back down this mic, so apologies if that sounds a little bit weird when you can hear it twice through 2 different sources. What was weird, that timeline didn't actually, you didn't see it playing when it was playing there, but we want to push it back a bit anyway because we want it to just finish as the scene's fading out. I could have done all the scene fade outs in this as well. There's little hooks you can put in into the action lists. And you can attach a camera track and do the camera fades in here and everything, but I've already got them all set up, so it seems silly to undo all of that.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You.
And that's where it's going to say about Clive Bottomley, so that's in the next scene. So that's fine, that's all set quite nicely. So save that. I didn't actually check my spelling or anything. I should be pasting this from my script really. Monday's got a capital M for one. It's Monday, and that should have a capital I. I have got the whole script in my in here. Where is it? It's over there. Yeah, so there's the script for it. So this bit, store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers. Hoover is a brand name, of course. It is a vacuum cleaner, but there you go. Hoover is something that we would call them in the UK because there was a brand of vacuum cleaners called Hoover, and that's what we all call them, or some of us do anyway. So we're going to copy and paste them from there, just so I get the spelling right. So save that scene, move on to the shop floor scene, and then in the cutscenes here I have an intro cutscene. So similar thing here. It was probably playing a voiceover. There's so much stuff in here, and it gets increasingly harder the longer this development cycle goes on. It's been like 9 months or something like that I forget what I did. So there should be up here, I would have thought, something that is playing a voiceover. I can see the Hoover sound being played. Where is the voiceover? It drops the Hoover there. Oh, right, no, so what I was doing before, the voiceover was played in the scene before, and it just continued to play across the scenes. So there isn't anything triggering a scene here. So what I want to do is, just as you come in, before it fades in, we'll do a timeline play action there. So we'll stick engine, control timeline. We haven't set it up yet, so we need to go and set it up, but then we'll hook that into there. So it starts playing the timeline just before the camera fades in, so we'll get the voiceover while the screen's still black, so it'll continue on nicely. So same thing here, I'm gonna just create a new empty game object, call it timeline, add a playable director to it, create a new timeline asset in playable assets there, and I'll call it shop intro. It automatically puts it in the box there. We want to drag in that voiceover again, and we've already played this first bit, so I'm going to trim that bit off. This is the bit we're going to be dealing with. Just check that.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon.
I'm just thinking about how much screen text you should have at a time, because the subtitles can be perfectly timed with all of this. So I'll create a new track for speech, exactly as I did before. Make sure that speech track is not natural playback mode, it's clip duration mode, and then add a speech playable clip.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display.
So I don't know whether all that should be one line. Let's try it out. Let's copy the text from here and paste it into there. It's quite a lot of text. It might be massive or 2 lines thick. It might be better to split it into 2, but we'll give it a go. Give it a save, because we've got that timeline asset there.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got...
So we might just time this a bit better. So
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon.
So I might just do it to the dead pigeon bit. So I'll pull that back to there. A dead pigeon. Actually, I could do store manager Clive Bottomley. No, let's go. Oh, it doesn't undo. Oh, there it is. So I might just do store manager Clive Bottomley.
Store manager Clive Bottomley.
There's one bit.
Diligently hoovers up the remains of...
Do you ever find out how the pigeon got there? Yes, Kyle, you do. You do find out how the pigeon got there. And that is all in the spoilers section for the finale. Yeah, you find out about the dead pigeon and a few other things that are going on. But for that, you'll have to play the game.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the...
So this second one, it's going to start from diligently hoovers up. So the first one's just going to be store manager Clive Bottomley, and I'll put a little ... Put that out of there. So store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon. Where does that go to?
He hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon.
Dead pigeon. ... Duplicate that. Control and D. Dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Let's check the length of that. All I'm doing is just pressing space to...
He found on the laminate flooring display.
That one go off the screen just there. Next bit, I'm going to start with that bit of text. Puzzled by how it got in will be one line. I'm just trying to keep a little short snippet so it's easy for the user to read. And bear in mind, this is the very first bit of the game, so this is the first time the player starts to understand that there's going to be some text on the screen and what have you. And they'll also be looking at this and listening. It's just helpful that the text is all going to be on screen as well. Puzzled by how it got in. ... Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. And then there's like a nice pregnant pause. And then the final line is, he couldn't be more wrong. So that should be timed out nicely now. You've probably noticed, I think when this scene started, there won't be any music playing because the music's triggered in the intro scene, so I don't think the music's on this bit, which is why we're testing it.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
To me, that seems way behind for some reason. Why is that? Because I forgot to set it to not play on awake, so it's playing right from the start. Whereas we want it to start playing after it's done those other things. I think that's what's wrong anyway. Now it's not playing at all. Oh, I know why. Because I set it up and didn't actually connect it here. So you see all this other stuff happens first. Actually, it's not a lot. I don't think there's any other things happening there, but let's just connect it. Timeline, play from beginning. Then the fade in happens. It seemed to be slightly behind for me. Let's see. As in, it was showing the text slightly behind the audio.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains.
Diligently hoovers takes a moment to appear. So, hold on.
Diligently hoovers up.
Yeah, I think it's just mine. That's the word diligently there.
Diligently hoovers.
So, yeah. We want that to come in before that.
he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today
Puzzled by how it got in. Yeah, I just didn't zoom in enough to actually see the surprises. He couldn't be more wrong. So hopefully that's a bit tighter. Really warm here.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises.
It is
He
behind.
couldn't be more wrong.
I wonder why that's behind then. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just disconnect that for a second. We'll leave it there. It is play from beginning. I wonder if there's just a slight offset. What I'll do, we'll kind of eyeball it instead and grab all of that, just shuffle it back like a second or so and have it play on awake. Not sure why it gave it a constant ID there. It didn't do that last time, but let's see.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display.
That's much better.
Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
So what is happening there is this, I re-recorded this today, like I spoke it into my mic and then replaced the, changed my voice basically using a voice model, and that it's taking longer to say. I've probably just been a little bit more careful and took my time saying it. So when Clive starts saying, I still have no idea how a pigeon got in here, which is there. God, this is a right mess. What have I done here? We maybe want to stall that a little bit. Just another second or so. So if we stall it by a second there. What am I using for changing voices? I am using 11 Labs. So they have a really powerful voice changer on there. It is pay to use. So yeah, I've used 11 Labs for quite a while. They've got some really cool tools on there. So I was already paying for like their subscription. Got absolutely loads of credits on there. My intention is, because I think it caps out at like, your credits do build if you don't use them, but it caps out at like 80,000 credits or something or other, which sounds like loads, but it can be like 1,000 credits or something for a decent chunk of text. And I think I mentioned on another stream, like there is another point and click game that I started making last year, which is just on the back burner a bit, as well as Polycity Stories. And that has got a narrator all the way through it. It was after I'd played Baldur's Gate 3. And a lot of the narrative is told by a narrator, which saves you loads of work if a narrator's kind of telling you the feelings of people and stuff like that. That is a good way of driving a story. So I'd got 11 Labs because I was going to use a voice for that, which was like a friendly narrator voice. So all the credits have been building up, so I've been using some of them for this. Oh, good evening, Mike, as well. Have I heard of Quen 3 TTS? Hard to install, but very good. I haven't actually, no. Like a text-to-speech, I assume, because TTS, I'm assuming that's what it is. I haven't, no, but yeah, I'm aware so many of these models can be locally installed, but yeah, the complexity of installing them. I used to have some like image generation model like about 9 months ago that I was playing with, but so slow, quite even on a decent PC here, compared to the like paid for services and things that you use. But yes, I'll have a look at that. Quen 3 TTS, not heard of that. But yeah, you probably noticed there it was all in time, and I don't know why it wasn't in time before. But anyway, let's add another second gap in here after the sound mixer goes down. I just want that text that Clive says to not clash so badly with the text that's on the screen. So just give that a playthrough, see if that lands better.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, so that's a bit better. There's a little bit of an overlap. I could actually bring this back a bit. Take another second off it, I think. All these little tweaks, these tiny tweaks, just to get it exactly right.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring
Right, so it's gone out of
display.
sync again. So I wonder if it's actually a like caching issue, because this is like right at the first frame. So let's just shuffle that on just a little bit. A quarter of a second and see if that fixes it. Finding the bugs as we go. This is how it works.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, I might just pause it a little bit longer, actually, so it doesn't overlap at all. So let's just give him an extra 3 seconds there before he says that line. I also just noticed the sound of him dropping the hoover.
Store manager Clive
is late to the animation. Is it late or early to the animation? I'm going to concentrate on the hoover drop.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today...
So it happens too early, the sound of him dropping it. So let's go and find that. So there's the hoover sign. Actually, it's probably all one thing, hoover multi. So let me just open this up in Audition. Yeah, he's dropping it there. Whoa, that's loud. Sorry about that. Deafen everybody. I'll just turn that down a sec. Yeah, actually I realise you can't hear that. Audition plays through my other sound card here, so you won't have heard that. But yeah, it's all one clip. So I can't move that back easily, the sound of that happening. I just basically need the animation of him dropping it to happen earlier. So that drop over, if I bring that back a second, and this is why all of this would have been much, much better on timeline. So like you end up tweaking all these things in seconds and like trying to remember what you wired. That animation, because it's an animation clip, I could drop that animation clip to the timeline and trigger it exactly when I want it, like the perfect moment. But I'd have to unwire all that. So I just wish I'd known about this, or I'd known about it, I just hadn't learned how to use it properly. I wish I'd done that at the start.
Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in,
Oh, I can hear it. Oh, this is one of the bugs in Unity. If you leave this selected, it just keeps playing. So I was hearing it twice there. This is getting confusing, isn't it? Let's see how that sounds. It should be a second sooner.
Diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how
There we
it got
go.
in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, and that perfectly comes up. Right, happy with that. So let's just go back to the first intro and see if that plays through nicely and all makes sense right from the start.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You. Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
I'm now thinking the subtitles might want to be at the bottom, but it's an easy change to make. You just go to the narrator text in menu, and somewhere down here, the line object, size, it's aligned, where is it? Auto width, it's not that. I'm looking for the position there. So you could have that down the bottom instead. That might just feel a bit more like subtitles, and that'll apply throughout the whole game, like that narration display.
It's Monday morning at the Gateshead branch of Floor for You. Store manager Clive Bottomley diligently hoovers up the remains of a dead pigeon he found on the laminate flooring display. Puzzled by how it got in, Clive hopes today holds no more surprises. He couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, lovely. So that's all nicely timed. And then we're off into the game. Okay, so there you go. You've seen it here first. The trailer that is on Steam is now out of date. And so is the little gameplay thing, because it doesn't have that dialogue in. It's got a different voice in it. And these are all just little tweaks I'm starting to make, like extra polish I'm starting to do as I start to try and get it to the point where I'm happy with it for release. Kyle, we're just saying there, YouTube chat, 50% off ends this weekend. Oh, is that on that Quen 3 TTS? A little look at it. Let's see what Quen 3 TTS open source. All right. Oh no, the poster 50% off ends this weekend. All right, the poster in the game. Yes, 50% off. It always ends that weekend. These posters as well, they kind of feature at the end of the game as well. There's like a bit at the end of the game outside the shop, so they are part of it as well. It's always this weekend, yeah. It always ends this weekend, and there's always a new sale starting on Monday. That is how carpet shops, sofa shops, and bed shops work. We all know that for a fact. Right, so no, I'm happy with that. That's sorted. There probably are some other bits within the game that might benefit from that, but there are only three, well, two, I suppose, the intro and the outro bits that have got narrator text on them. So that's the method I'm using at the end of the game to do them all as well now, because that is just much happier doing that and seeing the actual timeline. I just wish I'd done it earlier in terms of like an animation clip. So any of these, like let's have a look, the dog P1. you could drag that onto here. I think you literally just drag it on. Yeah, and that dog pee animation clip becomes something that you can trigger, and you can set that off whenever you like, exactly in time with something else. So it is very powerful, the timeline, and would have been really helpful in timing, especially this thing with the tree and the dog and everything else. C'est la vie. Hindsight, the calm life gives you once you've gone bald. I think that's the phrase. Unfortunately, too late for all that. So, other things I wanted to do tonight. My desk's covered in post-it notes. There was a little bit of animation with Clive, and there was this, which was like a dropped slice of pizza, but it wasn't particularly obvious that that's what it looked like. So I'm going to redraw that. So let's do that, because that's a pretty easy thing. Let's just bring that up so I can sample the colours from it. So that was the original one. You can see the shadow that was under it as well. I'll leave that there because I can just paint over that, I think. 3 second rule, yeah, it looks edible. I don't know, it depends what floor it gets dropped on. So I'm going to redraw this just with a, I guess, a more easy to read shape. So like the back half of the crust like that. We could actually do it with like a stuffed crust now if we're doing it from the side. Sample that darker one. I think how thick do you like your pizza? That's the big question. Just cut that off there. Whoops, filled the wrong bit. Looks a bit more like a pizza slice, doesn't it? But it's not brilliant, I must admit. I think we're going to need just a little bit darker along the bottom edge there, just to give it some depth. I'll sort this shadow out in a moment. I've also, I must admit, as I mentioned on the stream, I've got a new job, so that's kept me very busy the last week, learning the ropes there, and of course the World Cup has started, and whilst I'm not a huge football fan, I do love the World Cup. I really like watching national games, and there's been some really good ones. So there has been quite a few evenings where I would have normally been working on the game that I've either been recuperating from new job or watching World Cup games. So it does also mean a slowdown. As I mentioned previously, there was a period where I was unemployed and I was doing a lot of this, which was great for the game, great for me because I really enjoyed it. But sadly, not getting as much time, but I'm so glad I got as much done as I did, because I'm kind of in a position where most of it was done, and I'm now at the point where I really am struggling to choose what to do on a live stream, because there's not a lot of things that aren't spoilers right at the end of the game. So and Yakwak Slips mentioned on his stream that I have a live stream where I'm showing the game actually be made, because usually his channel's more to do with finished games or when games are coming out, and not so many people have this kind of channel where they're actually showing you behind the curtain of just how long it takes to make one of these. I don't know why I've done the pepperoni there. I was just going to put all the cheese on one layer and then all the pepperoni on a separate layer. do that in a sec. Making me hungry actually. Well, I had a big Sunday lunch today. Stuffed crust, I think. Behind the Curtain, the sequel. The next game I'm going to be working on is very different. It's going to be in 3D. I'm going to be using the Cinti assets, which I know we were talking about the other day, which I used for Polycity Stories. So it's not going to be pixel art, the next thing I'm working on. And it has, I've already done quite a lot of work on that. It was last year really I started doing that, and then kind of ran out of spare time and just shelved it. But I do want to get back to it because it's a great story, and again, quite a lot of it's done. So one of the things where it's going to be, I'll probably do another live stream thing with some of it. We'll see. Does that look like a pizza that's been kind of dropped? It's got oil on it, things like that. So that's the cheese layer. It is making me hungry. Pepperoni, put that on a separate layer. I'm hoping that by having it flat, it's just more readable as a slice of pizza. Putting the light bits in, sampling the mid bits. Couple of little dots like you get on your pepperoni. Probably should have some little white balls in it. That's what's. It definitely looks more like a slice of pizza now, doesn't it? And that's, I mean, it seems like a daft thing, but it's one of the things that's really helpful. People beta testing it. It's like you just, especially when you've drawn something. I probably drew it late night, that pizza slice. I'm just like, yeah, it's a pizza slice. Of course it is, because I drew it. But then someone else sees it and goes, what's that? And it's like, oh, is it not obvious? So it is good to get fresh eyes on it. I've just done all that on the pepperoni layer, haven't I? Right. I think that looks all right. That looks like a sloppy bit of pizza. So pizza slice, pepperoni and cheese, create a new group. New slice. Let's get rid of that one. I'm sure you still can't. Can you move a folder full? You can, as long as you don't have. And then the shadow layer, I've probably got that set to, yeah, 60%. Ramp it up to 100, just hide. Slice, and I think it's black, I've done it in, yeah. And then we're just gonna skim around it with a bit of a shadow. Cheese that's dripped off the side, it doesn't really need a shadow. And then just set that back to like 60%. All of these, they're like act placeholders that have like an object from the act. Could maybe do with a bit more shiny grease on that actually. Grease, what I'm going to do is just get some white and just pick out a couple of bits in white, and then I'll fade it back. So the cheese is going to look a bit shinier. All of these act placeholders have got a lighting effect on them. I'll show you in a second when I import this. But let's fade that back actually. Let's put it in a soft light mode maybe. There we go, yeah. I've just got a bit of shine on it. I spelled grease wrong, but who cares at this stage? Yeah, that looks all right. It certainly looks more like a pizza than it did before. So let's save that and then export it. And I think I export these just as one. Yeah. Sprite remembers the last export you did, so I'll just check that's going in the right place. Yeah, so there's all the other act titles, so it's Act 2 title, we're saving over that. Yes, export. Let's jump into Unity, go to that scene, open scene, my scenes, Act 2 title, there it is in there. Yeah, something weird's going on with these actually. I still haven't worked out what's going wrong with the inventory button. If I click play on there, you'll see this light come down, and there's something weird about the light I wanted to fix. It kind of comes down with this and then fades out, and then they're all done using the same bit of animation for the light, apart from one of the scenes where it's different, but it's like the intensity is quite bright on that yellow cheese, so I'm just going to turn the intensity down. And the other thing I don't like is, for some reason, I split the was it? Oh no, that's the scene light I've just changed. Animated spot there. See, it's a prefab, so it gets used in every other scene. But for some reason, what I did is I split the, can you see that? It's like a beam light. And I just did it because it looked nice and soft, but I'm now not that keen on it. If I change it here, it's going to change it in every scene, because that's just too bright. I think it just looks a bit weird. Let's fix it. Let's do it properly. So it's the spotlight bit that I don't like. It wants to be 360. Intensity can come down a bit. And the animation itself, to animator. This is where it gets animated. So it starts up the top, and then it moves down onto it. I think I'm even changing, am I changing the colour? Oh, I changed it for another scene, forgetting that it was an instance that's reused. So it comes down and lights it. Colour changes slightly. And the intensity changes slightly. So does it go up? Oh no, intensity doesn't change. But it does seem a bit bright there. If I turn the scene light down a bit, so layer that, and that intensity shouldn't blow out so much. Yeah, that's better, I think. And I used, these were another invention of mine, these, not my invention, but like these act breaks, because they're really handy for like setting some things. Like I set all my variables using a variable preset at this moment in time, so it means that I can test the game from these particular locations. Like to jump into the game from exactly the right point, which is handy when you're testing it. My testing version at the moment, actually, and if you are interested in beta testing, I know Mike said he would kindly do that. I can show you the menu. So the main menu, not that menu, it's the pause menu. It's not how I expected it to be. Is it in-game menu, pause menu? One of them, I've got some basically quick jump buttons here. I've maybe just turned them off. Yes, they're not visible at the moment. So is visible. So these let me jump to different parts of the game. So the beta version might have these turned on. Mystery, Funky and Rooftop. So they're just temporary bits to jump to temporary buttons to jump to big chunks of the game to test certain areas of it, so they're off at the moment, but they'll probably come back on next time I do a build. Oh yes, it might have been a while, Kyle, since you saw the new graphics on the menus. So yeah, they've got like carpet on them, and the inventory item menus changed as well. So that menu, if I go back up, the inventory. It's not showing inventory button. So the inventory button now is like a roller carpet with a stuff sticker on it, and then it actually rolls out. There's an animation of it rolling out. So you can see it on the Steam trailer. If I run this from, where shall I run it from? Run it from the rooftop. You've all seen this scene before. Yeah, I was just trying to get the carpet theme throughout the game, as much as I loved the Tesco bag that was there. So yeah, you can see the little stuff button. Yeah, I miss the Tesco bag as well. It rolls out like that, and it's got like a little sound effect. So again, just kind of theming up a lot of these, and the pause menu is like that. We saw him rub his head there as well, so that was something I was doing the other week. So he's blinking now, got little blinks going on. If you leave him for long enough, he'll do you know, Mike, I was thinking about having him voiced, because I know a lot of these games are voiced, but it kind of tried loads of different voices for him, and none of them really, I don't know what his voice is like in my head, but none of them were working for me. Yeah, see, there's a little head scratch now, and he's got a couple of different blinks that he does, so he just feels a little bit more alive when he stood there. He hasn't actually got side ones. Kind of need to do them. Yeah, that's a good point. Need to do some side ones. He doesn't do one when he's facing up either. Yeah, so probably need to do that. And you're hearing some of the music as well. It's very quiet in the background, but some of the music that's been selected for these scenes as well. So, a couple of the things that I need to do then that I hadn't thought about was some of his idle things. I'll do this one because this is part of a particular puzzle where he's got, this is a reach animation that he uses to get things off a shelf. So that's used when you get some things out of the storeroom quite early on in the game, but there's a bit where you end up using a kitchen knife for something, and I kind of need to put a kitchen knife in his hand here for this bit of animation and alter how tall he is, because otherwise he's going to go off his sprite. So this last frame I need to put his arm a little bit lower and have a knife in his hand, so I shall do that now. I wonder actually if it's worth having an extra frame in there. Create a new empty frame. Actually no, I don't want an empty frame, do I? I just want a new frame of the same thing. So let's have his arm. Kind of take this thing where, like, on games where there's an inventory, especially a point and click game, you've got a 2D sprite. So where are they getting all these things from? Where are they pulling all of this stuff from? Because there's been a few of these where you just suddenly get something out. But in this case, I think I'll just have his arm a little bit lower, like he's pulled it out a bit lower, so you get more chance to see that he's got the knife out, because you'll do like use knife on object and then it'll trigger this bit. I'm unfortunately, again, not going to be showing you what he's using this on because it's another spoiler. And I do apologise for this, but I'm kind of sticking to my guns of not spoiling the ending and some of the other little twists and turns in the story on these live streams. Of course, once the game's out, I'll probably do a little recap video, go over some of these things, how they were made, some of the bits that are more complicated later on in the game that I've not shown how they were done. So magically pull this knife out of nowhere. Which way is his hand? He's holding it flat like that. I mean, it's barely a hand, is it? That angle. It doesn't look right, does it? That's like that's his knuckles. I read that as his knuckles. So the knife's going to be sticking out that way. Let's just create a knife layer. I think he's in quite a dark area when this happens, so it might need to be a little bit brighter than it would have been ordinarily. Kind of looks like a knife-ish. Colour there, I'm gonna try and keep it constant. I just can't. I knew I wasn't going to be able to see it on that backdrop. Actually, it's fine if it glints a little bit there. I think. I think what the actual sprite looks like when you pick it up. Let's have a look at items. Items big. Yeah, so it's got like a kind of dark handle like that. So it's the same colour as his trousers. That's not helpful, is it? But just so that it feels like he's got something in his hand. And these are the bits where I'm going to have to not have his arm as high. I don't want the sprite to be a different size for this, because then what can happen is it kind of wobbles if it's not placed exactly right. I'm getting that weird optical illusion that because it's on a white background, or a lighter grey background, that grey there is the same as that grey, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, so just point it towards it, and then what I'm going to do is take that arm, duplicate it, just move it up a little bit. Oops, not like that I want. So just the arm. He goes up onto his tiptoes, doesn't he? That's what he's doing. Oop. Oop. And let's maybe just bring that whole section. I didn't mean to do that. The magic wand tool, No, I don't. I want the lasso tool. Just lasso that bit of his arm. Just so there's like a bit of movement on the knife. It's really hard when we're down to a couple of pixels. Oh, is that okay? I've done that. What about that frame? Actually, we can move it all over one go right to the edge of that. Just add that darker bit of sleeve in. It does look like his arm's bent the wrong way there, doesn't it? It doesn't look right at all. Problem with rotating things, makes a right mess of them. And there's only a couple of pixels to rotate onto. Yeah, not particularly happy with the way that's looking there. Let's tidy that up. Because we've got his other hand in the background as well, so it's all making it a bit of a mush. I mean, we're talking about one frame in like a 8 frames per second bit of animation. That looks better at least. Right, yeah, and we'll put the knife facing forward. Oops, not there. Just go over the edge of his hand like that. And I might kind of cheat the darkness of this a bit. So it's just a little bit more obvious as a handle. Like that. Thanks, Cal. Have a nice evening. Take care of yourself and hopefully see you on another one. I'm not sure if I'll be on next weekend. Oh, maybe I will actually. There's an England game on the Saturday night. England... Paraguay? No. I can't remember now. We were playing on Saturday. Yes, see you soon. Thanks for popping in. Just going to take that darker handle, put it under there, just so it gives it a bit more weight visually. Actually, what I could do with doing there is just slicing down a little, so keep his arm and everything as it is, but almost come off his tiptoes. So we kind of want to take this frame, duplicate it to the end. So So he drops back down. We want the arm and the knife from the previous frame. So when he drops down, that comes with him. Just those two. And then perhaps again down to that level. So copy that to the end. Take those two frames, copy them over there. Select them, move them down. It's like he's bringing the knife down the thing that he's cutting. And then I need him to put it back. So those 3 frames there, we're gonna copy that one, and then that one. Oh, what have I done there? And then that one, I think I might have messed something up there. I did like a misclick. Oh no, that's fine. So, I don't know why his eyes closed for the first frame of that, but let's sort that out as well. Put a little blink in there actually. So blink, his eye back there. Boom, boom. Let's look at the last one, his eye back there. I think that's right. So we want to save. I should have saved it as something else. So, oh no, I already did. Clive, reach, right, knife. Yes, good. Oh no, I haven't just replaced it with that. Hang on. Save that. Let's call this reach knife. I want it to go all the way up to frame 10. Not 510. That would be bad. So that should be a particular bit done. Yeah. So it goes up, slices down, and then brings his arm back. Lovely. So let's export all of those as a sprite sheet. There's the sprite sheet. I think that's all correct. Sprite, visible layers, all frames. We're not splitting it by anything. Go over to here. Make sure it's going into my sprites, characters, Clive. Clive, reach, right, knife. Save. Export. Right, that's that one done. Let's just type in knife there. Clive, reach, R, knife. Make sure we're importing it with the correct settings, which is sprite sliced. Apply. Have a look at the sprite editor and just check. Yeah, so everything's set up as it normally is using that preset. Where the anchor point's right between his toes, or right in the middle of his feet. So that's all good. And we then want to get all of them. Right click, create an animation clip. And we're going to call that Clive knife. And then I need to go to his animator controller. Good evening, Chris. Yes, late again. Going to be on detention eventually. You can always watch these back. They go onto YouTube about 15 minutes after the live stream ends. So they'll be available on YouTube, as the last 37 of them have. 37? This is 38, yes. 37 of the ones. Someday you'll get here on time. And to be fair, I did used to start at 8 o'clock. Yes, I did used to start at 8 o'clock, and I started at 7:30 and things like that. I found doing it a little bit earlier is better for me, really. It fits in better with my evening. Getting ready on a Sunday for work on Monday. So I've got that in. What I need to do is go to Clive's animator controller, which I think is called player. This is the other thing, there's so many things in this. Now, let me just type controller. Controller? No, I didn't call it that. Oh, player, Clive controller. That's the big one. That Gateshead skyline looks unusually peaceful. And technically, it's the Newcastle skyline from Gateshead. And I know the Newcastle skyline doesn't look like that, but could put St James's Park up in the corner, I suppose. Right, the animator controller. So what I'm going to do is just drop his new knife clip into there. Clive knife. And then I can call it in the scene that it's required. Just call it knife. I'm not going to show you which scene it's required in because that will contain spoilers. So sorry about that, but you know, that is at least that bit done. When that happens in the game when you're playing it, you'll be like, ah, that's where that happens. As with lots of these things, it'll hopefully still be fun for those who've been following along on the live streams and seeing this get built from scratch, that actually when you come to play the game, you will have forgotten a lot of the things that went on 9 months ago. And some of the other stuff will be like, oh God, I remember that. I remember that episode when Andy struggled making that bit, or spent ages fiddling with one pixel that really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So that should be done. We can check it actually just by going to our test scene. I do have a test scene somewhere. My scene. Template scene. Yep, don't think there's any spoilers in this. Might be, have a look. This is just where I test out some of the character animations and things. Oh, there's the phone call. The phone call. Where he's on the phone talking. So I think I did that on one of the live streams actually. That was him talking and stopping and talking and stopping, so we can have a phone conversation. But with Clive walking about here, let's just test that, that animation. So let's just stick something down. Let's just put a little hotspot in there or something. What shall we put in there? I'll just create a blank hotspot to test it out. Hotspot 2D. Tester. Well, the scene view so we can actually see it. So we'll just put a little tester there. I seem to have less space than I normally do on this screen. Let's just do an examine interaction. Tester examine. And then what we'll do is we'll make him face right. So character, face direction, effect layer, right. Wait until that's finished. And then character, animate is the player. We're going to play a custom animation, and it was called knife, wasn't it? Did I just call it lowercase knife in the end? I did. There it is. It's going to play lowercase knife. It's going to wait until it's finished, and then it'll return to idle after, and it'll be as idle right. So hopefully that should test out our knife animation. Oh, actually, it's going to be really fast. I haven't set the frames per second. So that tester there. There you go. Go. Oh, his eyeball does something weird. I know I'm being picky here, but check out the eyeball. Ooh, it goes forward and back. I've moved his eye in that. Anyway, this is the benefit of having sprite sheets. So for some reason, I've moved his eye forward on all of this. It should be there. So let's just shift it back. It's fine on these. He blinks and it comes to the wrong place. Save that. Export a sprite sheet. We know it's all set up correctly. Export and overwrite it. Go back to Unity and it will be magically fixed. Don't have to import it all again because the sprite sheet's chopped up into all the sprites. And he shouldn't have a weird eye now. There we go. Yeah, so that looks fine. It is a really quick thing that happens. He cuts something up there and then it falls down. So that looks good. It's running quicker than it should be, but it looks all right. But if I wanted to change it, I would just go to knife, go to the actual animation clip that's in it, select it, go to animation, and it's running at 12 frames a second. I would normally run all of his animations at 8, just to give it a little bit more of a, like a jerky, more retro feel. A little bit slower. Fine. Cool. So that's another thing ticked off. What time are we on? We are on 8:30. So we've realised he hasn't got any idle rights and idle lefts, and it literally just needs to be a blink, but I think it makes a big difference. Let's see to that then. Let's open up the wrong folder. Characters, Clive. We do idle down, so we want to just do his regular. Actually, what is it part of? Is it talk right? Because all his walk ones he's in motion, but talk right he's got his mouth open. Yeah, so this first frame basically is what his normal standing frame is. So let's go file, save as, we'll call it Clive, idle, because we've already got a down there. So Clive, idle right, save that, just delete all of the others. Kind of looks like he's yawning there. I just thought it would be quite good if he yawned, but I don't think I've got time to do that at the moment. So it's going to be super simple, this. We're just going to create one like that, one like, oh, why is that sampling the wrong colour? I just want to go over his eye, but it's not working. Why's that? Sample that. Click on the face. Oh, is it because it is? It's because onion skin's on, that's why. So there's one like that. There's one like that. And then if we duplicate that one, we'll have one where his eyebrow comes down like a full blink, as I would call it. So we only need 3 frames, then we can duplicate them in Unity. I mean, you could do it here. You could make absolutely loads of frames, but you'd be importing loads of extra assets that you didn't need. We only need the 3 frames to do it. So let's export that as a sprite sheet and call it. This is the PNG, so it's going in my sprites, characters, Clive, idle right, save, export. Let's do the same with left. So let's open up his Clive, Torque left. Oops. Save that one. No, don't do that. File, save as. Clive, idle, left. Save. Delete all of that. Do the same thing, duplicate it. I don't know why I can't remember. New frame is Alt and N. Turn off onion skin. Hide his eye. And on the next frame, Alt and N. Bring that down for a full blink with that. And then we're just going to dish him out on a timeline so that he does a nice little blink. It'd be nice to do a little head scratch and things like that as well, but it was a real pain doing the head scratch. I remember doing it on a live stream a couple of weeks ago. Let's have a look at it. Clive, idle, down. Yeah, I'm still not totally happy with his scratch. His arms just... It looks okay, actually. Oh, for that one, yeah, I think to prove the point, I made it in loads of frames. So I just imported it in one big chunk, but we'll do this other one the way I should have done that one, really. So I want to export this. Export as a sprite sheet. All of that should be the same. Make sure we're putting it in the right folder. My sprites, characters, Clive. Clive, idle left, save, export. So let's get those clips in. There they are. Idle left, idle right. Make sure they're both using the sprite sheet sliced preset set up. Doesn't let you open them both at the same time. Just check it has got 3 frames. Yeah. Just check the other one. There's 3 frames, they're all lined up correctly. So we just need to make them into a new clip. Create. I suddenly had brain fart there. Animation clip. Clive, idle. Which one was it? I forgot what I clicked on. Was it right? It wasn't. It was Clive, idle left. Same with these frames as well. That needs to be the right one. Create, animation, animation clip. Clive, idle. Right. Oh, now let's put it, I'm really confused. I'm very confused now. Select Clive. Go with animator. Where are they? Mint was controller, yeah. In. I think I might have messed these up. Clive idle left. That is correct. He is facing left. That's good. So by process of elimination, that should mean that Clive idle right is facing right. I have, as usual, named them things with lots of underscores, and that makes it a pain. Some caps and some no caps, both the same. Idle, why is that got a 0 on the end? Ooh, does that mean there's already one called idle in there somewhere? Oh, there is. One in Clive, idle right. Well, well, well. Ah, I think these are pre-made ones. Yeah, these are the ones that it is using, which is why he just stands there at the moment. So really what I should have done is pasted those frames into there, because I've already got an idle left and an idle right sat there. I can't even couldn't think of it, where you tell it the following animations are required based on something. Yeah, so I think it automatically set them up. So they might need to go into there. Let's try something out. Let's just call that 2. Call that 2. And make sure these are called idle R. Little L with a small I, because they must be being referenced somewhere already. I just can't remember where that they were referenced. So hopefully it'll start using these two, unless they've got, these two have got a specific reference somewhere. Let's see anyway. He's either going to stand completely still and do nothing, or his eyes are going to be flashing. Right, yeah, so it's using the new ones because they're not set to loop either, so his eyes just close. So that's good, at least it's using the right one. So first thing we want to do is make sure that these bits of animation are set to loop. So animation clips both need to be looping. And then there's the 3 frames that we had. I'm going to set to 8 frames per second. Same for the other one before I forget. And then we're just going to distribute these frames about. Be helpful being able to see him. So if we select him and go idle left, it's the preview on, you'll actually see it. So the first one's his open eye, which is his standard, and then these two are blinks. So you can see the seconds along the top. So over the course of like 2 seconds, that's his eye open, and then he'll do a single blink, and then we want to copy his eye open again, probably onto the next frame, to be honest. So it's a single little blip, and then we'll have his big blink at 2 seconds, and then his eye open again, and then this kind of little routine, we can just space these out, put a couple there, and then we could do kind of 2 big blinks together, and then there'll be a little blink. And this will just give it some randomization over 7 seconds. So if I play that, see there's a little blink, little blink, big blink, big blink, little blink, and then it'll loop round. So it just gives him a bit of life when he's stood there. Yeah, I'll maybe put a little head scratch or a yawn or something at some point, but it'll be difficult drawing it. And as I've said in the past, like on live streams, when I think it's quite boring watching me struggle to draw his arms. And there's plenty of live streams you can go and watch me struggling to draw Clive's arms. So there's just so few pixels. It's so few pixels. Right, so we need to do the same with his right. So there's his 3 frames. Actually do it this way, select from there, Clive idle right, do exactly the same thing, just scroll out a bit, that's his big blink, that's his little blink, copy that one, So that's his little blink. Put his little blink there. Come out a bit. Big blink. And another big blink. And a little blink. A gap. A little blink. And a little blink. So different to the other one. Just again for a bit of variety. Just click play on that. Blink, blink, blink. Big blink, big blink. Blink. And then off you go again. Yeah, lovely. So let's just check it works while it's playing and there isn't anything weird going on. He of course doesn't have anything that he does when he's facing the other way. That's why like a scratch or something would be kind of, or he could scratch his bum or something like that, couldn't he? Something to do from that. I wanted to do like a kind of, I can't remember the name now. Oliver Hardy. He used to scratch the top of his head, scratch his bald head. That would look quite cool. So yeah, it's going across to the left one, going across to the right one, and if he uses an animation like that, he then should go back to idle again. Yeah. Nice having me in the background whilst you struggle in Blender. That is Chris. Are you still working on this horror game? We've got lots and lots of stuff to do. You're almost 60 gig, was it, in size? Yeah, I don't envy you there, but it would be great to see some of that. Yeah, that's better. So he's got lots of nice blinks and things going on. He's a bit more alive from the sides. That's all nice. Okay, so I've got the intro bit done tonight with the narration subtitles. I've done that little knife cut. I've realised that he didn't have idle left and rights. I've redrawn that pizza. My God, I've hit everything on the list pretty much. The only other thing I was going to check, there's other act title cards. That's a cool one, something interesting. I think all of these were fine, but I also introduced another type of kind of title card. I think there was one of them I wanted to just tweak. What would it be called? It would be called, it'd be in locations. I thought it was called later. Oh, there is a underscore later. All right, no, I did redo it. It's got his boss mug there. After he's had his cuppa halfway through Act 2, you get a little later screen which comes up with that one on. So no, I'd already fixed that one. So I think that's probably all I was going to do this evening. That might mean I finish a little bit early tonight. Unless there's any questions from Mike or Chris or anybody else who's watching. Anything else that you're interested in seeing, so long as it's not spoilers, of course. And that might be this evening. I suppose all I can ask is that you head over, if you haven't already, I know the regulars already have because they're all fantastic, and stick a wish list on under the carpet on Steam. I haven't yet decided on the launch date for it. It is kind of getting to the point where most of it is done. It just needs lots of testing. So I'm gonna get through the first round of beta testing and then kind of decide when the launch window is going to be, the rough time for it to be launched. Some of the other things that you could do that would really help the channel is stick a like and a subscribe on it, stick a comment on this video or any of the other ones. If you are making your own point and click game, if you're using Unity, Adventure Creator, Sprite, and you have any questions at all, then stick them on one of the videos, and it'll give me some other content to do in these live streams as I start to run out of things I can show you without spoilers. So anything that you'd like to see, then let me know, and I can do one where I'm just answering some questions, showing some other bits and pieces. Oh, actually, I think it was that someone did ask a while back about doing lighting in Sprite. So I can kind of show a bit of that with which scene, the side alley scene. So I forget the name of the person who asked on YouTube actually, but I will go and find the message and I will respond to you, whoever it was who asked, and just mention that it's at the end of live stream 38. So it was on the alleyway, side alley. Let's turn all these layers on. So like these kind of like light beams and things like that, I think someone was just asking for some tips on those kind of things. So it's on this backdrop layer, these light beams here. What they are is they're just a shape drawn. So if the opacity is down at 8% and it's on screen mode, but if I turn that all the way back up and just put it on normal, it is just a massive yellow block that was kind of hand drawn on there. Some of this was kind of just hand painted round, and then it's a matter of just scaling back the opacity to something really low, choosing a blend mode that works nicely. It was on screen, I think, for lighting. And then sometimes what I also do, like if I created a new layer there, the reason I didn't do it here is because this is an interactable object, but I sometimes would add like coloured edges to things. Bin lids are the problem here. It need to be above the bin lids. Because this animates down and closes, I didn't do it in this scene, but what I tend to do then is get like a really bright colour, or if it's like a yellow light that's coming from, is just kind of strike the edges of them where the light would hit, and kind of the edges of that or something, just so you can kind of see where the light's catching it, and it looks way over the top, but then you just do exactly the same thing. Take that layer, take the opacity down, try screen mode, see if that's any better. It doesn't make much difference really when it's that light. Just leave it in normal, but yeah, sometimes helpful just to have a catch of colour on things. You can even do the edges of the bricks, but it just depends how much detail you want to go to. So yeah, that hopefully answers the question. They are just drawn shapes, and fade them back. Some of them, I think I've done one recently where there's kind of two cones, a bright cone and a less bright cone, and you just fade them out to different levels. But then as you know, once I get them into Unity, I then add, so that scene in Unity, I then, let's go side alley, scene, can't see it. It must be so frustrating when it's, oh, I wasn't casting. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? Yes. For the entire explanation of it, thank you, Mr. Alex Hollis. I didn't actually have the screen on while I was showing it. For the entire explanation. Let's whiz back and see it. So, light beams, side alley, everything I just said. The light beam section here, if I bring that back up to full 100%, they were just hand drawn as bright yellow like rectangles. Better. Thank you for calling it out. I did exactly the same last week as well. Just drawn as a solid yellow object. I'm using screen mode rather than normal. So in normal it is just solid yellow. So you put it in screen. They were literally just drawn on. So draw the light on, stick it in screen mode, and then pair it right the way back to as bright as you want it to be, really. And then the other bit that I mentioned about the just catching the edges of stuff, if you want to put some highlight, then use exactly the same method, just kind of be more sparing with it, and maybe just put a little line where the light would hit, and just on the corner, a couple of pixels on something, and then do the same with that, just pare it right back so it looks like it's just catching the edge of it. And you can do that right the way across the scene. There's scenes later on in the game where things are quite dark and the light's catching things right the way across the scene. So yeah, that is the way to do that if you're wanting to do kind of pixel lighting. And then, as I was just about to say, when Mr. Alex Holix very kindly said I wasn't casting at the time, is load that scene in Unity and show you what else I do to them just to bring them to life. So I go and can't find the scene. Where is it? Side alley. There we go. Open that up. So once it comes into Unity, what I also add to it on top of the pixel art is I add these scene lights or glows. So there's quite a few of them going on in this scene. There's a glow that comes in the top corner. I'll just pull that over so you can see it. It's one of these light 2Ds, so you can set the colour of them. Set it to green, and you can see it's just colouring the edge of the screen. It's really subtle actually in this, because there's a flashing street light in the scene over there. So this one actually is animated. So there's this little light flicker animation. So when you come into this scene, see if hope it doesn't play the cutscene beforehand. Let's zoom out for you. So that light there is flashing because in the other scene, when you go back through the car park, there is a light here that is flickering. So there you go. That flickering of this street light, you can see it from here as well. So it kind of flickers the same as that. And then what's also happening, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see Clive is being lit by this light as well. So that's not the pixel yellow over him, because the screen mode's all baked into the background art. When he walks out of there, you'll see he'll get darker. So he's kind of dark here, and then when he walks near it, he gets brighter. So I do that with these lights. So that window light there is another one of these free-form pixel lights. So you can literally make a shape, and I just kind of get roughly where I want that light to spill, and then you can change the fall off strength, so you can see it falls off faster or slower from that particular shape. So you can kind of stack them round. They do have a very small performance requirement, but it's not going to tax most people's computers or laptops these days. And you see these roof ones, there's some up there as well. So it just adds some glow to it, something that just makes it like lifts the pixel art and makes sure the character's getting lit as it walks past things. And there's examples of that all over the game. I'm trying to think of the one where there's maybe two. There is one where I do use a pixel light for good reason. So like a pixel art light. So if I open up in the shop, boom, 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 shop floor. Don't say that. So when you solve one of the puzzles and refit these light bulbs, if I were to use the regular light, I've got one in there, like where when you fix the lights here, there is a little glow around them. But the problem is Clive's quite tall in this scene. So when he's in this scene, it's going to run the intro here, I think. It might not. It is going to run the intro, yeah. But when Clive walks down here, his head still gets lit because you can't set the like Z value because it doesn't exist. It's all a completely flat scene. So you can't tell it to not light Clive when he's down here. So in the case of those ones, they are those blue blobs you can see. they are actually imported pixel coloration that sits above him, so that it does appear to light him when he walks behind them. So there's a couple of different tricks on there that I've used to get that to look right as well. So there we go. Thanks for shouting that out, Alex Hollis. That was almost me failing to show that guy who asked about a month ago how I did the pixel like drawing lights. Yeah, so again, thank you very much for joining, for commenting and things. Mike, I did see you comment there. If you'd stick a question on one of the video comments there, that would be fantastic. It nudges the algorithm when people put questions on. And I am genuinely running out of things I can show you without spoiling bits of the game, because I'm working on the finale stuff at the moment. So yeah, any ideas, stick them on a video, stick them in the community section. Any questions, things you want to see, maybe things to go over. I did a whole thing on the music, and those of you who tune in regularly know that I wrote a bit of music for the shop music in the background, and then ultimately decided not to use it after having written this bit of music for it, because it just jarred. I'm a bit of a perfectionist with it. The other stock music I'm using in the background is just such high quality, really nice music, that my stuff didn't quite sound the same, and it was a bit jarring, I think. I'll possibly, yeah, I've got to write some more jingles. That's something I've got to do. But again, maybe not something that is fun to watch on a live stream, as I struggle to write something funny. Because, yeah, here's the adverts. Yeah, so these have all been recorded. These have been recorded in my voice and then voice changed again. And I'm probably going to do some more of them. They play in the shop background, like the little adverts that get played. Well, the other thing I thought about doing actually, but I haven't got round to, I may put a TV screen up here. I just think there's a nice blank bit of space where you could maybe have a TV in the corner that's playing adverts, or do some little animations of adverts and carpet sales things. So I might do that, or one of them like JML carpet cleaning adverts or something like that. So I might get around to doing that as well, just to add a little bit of movement in the scenes. Very few of my scenes actually have got animation in them in the background. That's something I love about Monkey Island and Full Throttle and things like that. And Day of the Tentacle, actually, there's loads of things animating, but in a kind of carpet shop, other than like a ceiling fan or something like that, I don't think there's much that I could do. And it wouldn't have a ceiling fan because it's got air conditioning, which is one of the puzzles in the game. So yeah, any suggestions actually? I think most of you have seen a lot of the scenes. If you've got suggestions of things that could be animated in the background, then that'd be nice for me to do another kind of passive polish and have some extra things happening. Then that'd be nice too. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I will hopefully be back next Sunday, same kind of time. If you haven't already, please go and wishlist Under the Carpet on Steam. Hit the like button. Have a nice evening, everyone. Enjoy the World Cup if that's what you're into. Whatever country you're from, I wish you the best of luck. Of course, England will go crashing out in the semis or quarterfinals, as usual. That is our gift to the world of football. We're incapable of winning a World Cup anymore. Right, good night, everyone. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, cheers. I'll see you again soon. Bye.